Hey guys, so welcome to this video, and it's going to be going through what is the new entry system. And yeah, so after some testing, I've found that obviously one of the hardest parts of learning this strategy is the entry systems, and obviously looking at where to enter. So first of all, you have a change of character, and when you see that change of character happen, obviously if you're starting out, it's going to be difficult to learn that, because obviously change of characters can be probably the hardest part of the strategy, just from getting it down. If you repeat it and obviously go over it over and over again, then you will learn it eventually. But at the start, it can be very, very confusing. I was confused for months just trying to learn what a change of character was properly. And yes, it's not really important with this new entry system, because obviously we're completely disregarding that. So it's still we're still looking for that change in trend. So when price taps into our POI, we're still looking for price to change trend, but we're not calling it a change of character, because it's not what we're looking for. We're now looking for a break of the range. So I'm calling this the RB, so range break. And what it means is, if there's if we're looking for buys, we're looking for a break of a bearish range of candles. So I mean, say there's two bearish candles, we're looking for a break to the upside from that without pulling back and breaking that low. So it is similar to the change of character, but you will see differences and you will see different trades. And with this method as well, there's only one single entry point for every single trade. So it's really simple. And the entry point you'll see in a minute, which is the EQ. So it depends on the time frame, because obviously if you're using a high time frame, then obviously you can use the EQ. But if you're using like the 1 minute, sometimes price doesn't come all the way back to the EQ. So what you can use is either the open of the range, or find a method that works for you, and find what works for your time frame. Because even though I'm going to be using the 5 minute for entries, what you can do is just use any time frame you like. You can use 1 minute, 2 minute, 6 minute, 7 minute, 20 minute, 15 minute, whatever you want, and they all work really well. So yeah, it's about finding what works for you and what you can be consistent with. So with the old method, which is to change your character, everyone's doing it. Yeah, it doesn't. For me, because there's so much confusion around it, and like inconsistency, even for myself, I can identify change of character every time, but sometimes it's hard to spot when you're sat at the charts, especially if you want to use alerts for your entries. It can be difficult to identify that in the live moment. So with this new system, it's completely so much more simple, and you'll see what I mean. But with the change of character, there's multiple entry areas. So when you get your change of character, you're looking for either a sweep or the extreme. So the sweep, there's a lot of discretion around that, to be honest. There's a lot of questions around, is this a sweep? Did this sweep it? It swept it by 0.2. Is it a sweep? Or do I use the extreme? And then, do I use 50% of the extreme? Do I use the open? Do I use the sweep candle, the sweep wick? Where do I enter, basically? But with this new method, there's literally one entry area for every single place. So there should be no confusion around that. And even though it's simple, it works extremely well. So yeah, let's jump into it. So here we can see we've got a 4-hour POI. So we've got this 4-hour supply here, which is this candle here. So price taps in, and we're looking for the first high to get taken. So as you can see, the first tap in was here. Price came up, created this high, and now price is coming down. So we don't look to enter anywhere here. What we wait for is this first high to get taken. So as soon as this gets taken, our alert goes off, and now we're looking for entries. So we move on to the 5 minute, which is my entry time frame, but obviously you guys can use whichever you like. So here we can see we have a bullish range. So what we're looking for is a break of the bullish range to either the upside or the downside. So here you can see we get a break, a pullback, and then a break of this bullish range. So by the pullback, all I mean is there's a bearish candle. So a bearish candle is a pullback. Sorry about this. So we have this bullish range. Price pulls back, creating this bearish range, and then we break the bearish range to the upside, which is now this bullish range. So when we mark our ranges, we include the previous wick as well of the previous candle. So if I go through some examples here, so let me mark my bullish ranges. So from here we have this bullish range, right? Price comes up, comes down, and then we break that bullish range to the upside. So the new range is from this low to this high. So we then get a bearish range created, and then the bullish range breaks here. So this is now our bullish range. As you can see, price doesn't take the high, so we're still between this low and this high. So as soon as this low breaks, that's now a break of the range, which happens here. And then obviously entry would go at the EQ, so the entry would be here. As you can see, price reacts just here but doesn't come down, and that's because we haven't taken this high yet. Same thing here, so we get, let's go from here, we get this bullish range, which includes the previous candle, previous wick, and then price comes up, breaks the range, so we mark up this new bullish range here. So price then, the last candle here, because this one it's a pullback, but it isn't a bearish candle. So what we need to see is a bearish candle and then a break of that range high. So we're still in this whole bullish range here, even though we wicked outside it, because there's no bearish candle in this leg. So all it is bullish candles, and then price comes down, bearish, takes out this low, and then price comes back, taps into the EQ perfectly, and comes down. So obviously this isn't our entry either. We're waiting for this high to be taken first. But as you can see, it's really simple. There's only one entry, and it's at the EQ. So there's no confusion around where you enter. And if we're, so looking at this trade here, price comes down with this bearish candle before breaking this range here. And then obviously we're waiting for a break of this low now, because that's our bullish range. Okay, so price takes the low of this range, and immediately we know our entry is here at the EQ. No confusion at all around that. So we get tagged in and come down. So this was on, I think it was like Friday or Wednesday actually. But yeah, that's now running for like 16 hours. So if we're looking at a trade down here, we've got a 4-hour demand. So we got on the 15 minute, and now we're waiting for the first low to be taken. So the first low is this one here. So I mark this up, and I set my alert here, and then price comes and takes this low here. So if I zoom in and go to the 5 minute, let's go back a bit. So what you can see is we're waiting for a bearish range to break to then take longs. So we currently have this bearish range here, and we include this wick because this is currently in the range, and it's not a bullish candle and then a breakdown. Okay, so we now have a bullish candle. If I zoom in, this one is a bullish candle. It's white, it's not grey. Well, it is grey, but it's light grey. So this would be the new range. Okay, so this is now our bearish range. So price then takes the high of the bearish range, and we know entry. Let me just mark this properly, get it on there. Okay, so entry is now at the EQ, cover the low. So we get tagged in here, and price comes up, and boom, ran for like, what is that? So partials would be at the next 4 hour supply. So we take partials at 27R. Price then comes back down and taps into the 4 hour POI again. So it's fine to take another entry here. So what we can see is the low gets taken here. Okay, so the low gets taken there. Price then pulls back. So we got if we mark up our ranges, starting from the top. So we've got a bearish range here. Obviously we're looking for buys, so we want to see a bearish range broken to the upside. So we then get a bullish candle, and then price then takes the low of that. So we're now between this high and this low. So that's our new bearish range. And obviously you can see we break to the upside here. So entry goes at the EQ. A little bit of a bigger stop loss this time. But because we're trading the 4 hour, our TP is like pretty high anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we get tagged in, and we take a loss here, so no worries. But we are still in this 4 hour demand. So what we do is go back a bit. So let's see when we take our stop loss, which is here. So currently we have this high to this low is our bearish range, including the previous wicks here. And then this is a bullish candle, and then we take out that bullish candle here, like so. And immediately price comes up, taking the high of the bullish candle. So that's an entry for us. As you can see, there's no change of character in here, so you wouldn't be in this trade yet. But for us, that's our confirmation there. So what happens is price wicks up, and as you can see, pushes all the way back down to our entry, which is here. So we are tagged into this now. If I show you on the lower time frame, go on to the 1 minute. Yeah, so you can see price comes up, comes back down into entry. So you would have had to be quick on this one. But yeah, so we tagged in. TP is, I have no idea. I think the next, next supply, obviously, because I think we're counter trend. But I'm just showing you the entries here. But yeah, price runs up. And hits TP. So let me show you some more examples while I'm at it. So here we have a 4 hour supply. Delete these. Okay, so start from the beginning. So 4 hour supply. We've now got high created because we've pulled back. And the pullback's visible on the 15 minute, so that's fine. So we've got a high here. So alert goes here. And then obviously the high gets taken. So we can now look for entries. So obviously we have this this bullish range here, including the previous wick. Price comes down. So we know our range is complete as soon as we get a bearish candle, because if we had a bearish candle and then a break to the upside, that would be a new range there. So let's bear that in mind. So we get a break of the range here. entry goes at 50%, and we're covering the high by 0.5. So we get tagged in there, and then price jumps down. So if you're looking for a previous entry here, you would have had a change of character just here. But then you're looking for where you're going to enter, and obviously this one doesn't tap into this. So would you say this is a sweep? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you would have entered at the extreme. So with this, you're just completely taking out that confusion there. So yeah, it's really seeing some great improvements with that. So we're now between this low and this high. So we can take that high. Price pulls back with this bearish candle and takes a high again. So obviously this wick came lower than this one. So we're between, we're just in this candle at the minute. And now we come and sweep the high of the supply, which is fine. I'm still looking for an entry here. Okay, so we then take the low of this range. Really simple. Entry goes at the EQ, cover the high. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And what happens? Taps into the EQ perfectly and runs. So yeah, that's really how simple it is. Like literally the most simple entry method I've ever seen. And yeah, so I hope you guys find it useful. Same thing here. You can see we have a bullish range like so. Pull back, break that bullish range to the upside. So the next range, it's a little bit difficult to see because we're on the 5 minute. But if I go down to a lower time frame, so obviously we have, let's go back a bit. So what happens is price comes up, then takes the low. So that's now our entry model there. But if you look on the 1 minute, you can see the low gets created, the high gets taken. So we now got this range here, and then entry goes at the EQ as soon as we take this low, covering the high. So it's a little bit easier to see on a lower time frame there, but it all happens the same. And yeah. So I think this came down to like one of these demands here. But yeah, same thing over and over again. I'm going to create some more videos covering obviously trade recaps and examples and stuff. And there's going to be a new course coming, so I'm not sure when that'll be, but it will include all of the new stuff, and all of the old stuff will just be like in the archive, but it'll still be available. But obviously, going forward, we want to be teaching the current strategy and not getting confused between the old stuff and the new stuff. So yeah, hope you find it useful, and I'll answer any questions if you have any questions in the question section. So yeah, see you all soon.